giving alarm that it is in a worst situation. If it is in a reversible cycle, we may be in a situation where the cycle is going to end and it is going to start again. That is one hypothesis. If you are believing that it is a reversible, irreversible cycle, probably we may not knowing what would happen next. So these two things are general hypothesis. So if you say hypothesis, we have to understand how people have defined that hypothesis. So here, the time has been divided into different definitions. So here, 15 minutes is what is called as one past time. Why I am telling all this thing is, climate change has become a very fancy word globally, but unfortunately, we couldn't understand how it is affecting locally. Whether we are getting affected because of that, because it's generally being a very superficial term, rather than getting some pulse inside the local region. So just bringing some ideas on how time is being measured and what all the basic understanding, traditional understanding on the time. So that's what I have given here. So 15 minutes is called as one casting, 30 casting, that is 30 into 15 minutes is called as one kalai, one kalai. 30 kalai is considered as one muhurtam. 30 muhurtam is one agondara, that is 1 day. 1 day means it's comprised of 30 muhurtam, 30 kalai, and 30 casting. So these are the split of even one particular day. So they have very clear understanding of different duration of a day and what all the things happens within the day also they have predicted. Then second thing is 50 agondaram is one pacham. So we have two pachams. So basic understanding about the pacham is there are full moon day and no moon day. So based on that they have. I think. I hope now it is clear. Earlier I was wearing mask, so probably will not be able to hear it clearly. The thing is, the definition of the time, which clearly explicit that we have clear understanding of what all the environmental consequence on those particular divisions of time. That's what I am trying to bring into the light. So here, 50 agondaram is called one paksham. Paksham is from the full moon day to half moon day, then no moon day. Again, from no moon day to full moon day. That's how they have divided the 15 days into 1 month. Then 2 paksham is called one month, and 6 months is called one ayanam, and 2 ayanam is called one varudam. So the entire elliptical movement is divided into 2. So they call it as ayanam. So we have 2 elliptical pathways. So they call it as half of the elliptical pathway is one ayanam, and another half is called another ayanam. So 2 ayanam constitute 1 year. This is how they divided the time locally. This is a traditional understanding of how they have divided the time. Then there are these are all small scales. If we talk about the larger scale, then they call it as Perum period. It means larger scale. So they call it as Trudha Yugam, Dwapara Yugam, Kali Yugam, and now we are into this. So if you call the Trudha Yugam, it constitutes around 1728,000 years. So that constitutes a Trudha Yugam, and Treta Yugam constitutes 1296000. That many years constitute the Trudha Yugam, and Dwapara Yugam and Kali Yugam, and it keep continuing like that. So 4 yugas constituted, and it keep on coming on the cycles. Now there are 12 Magha yugas, and those 12 Magha yugas called as one Manvandiram, and 14 Manvandiram is called one Kalpam. There are 30 Kalpams. So the Kalpams are given here. Vamadeva, Sveda, Kalpa, Neela, Logi, Rudra, Raudra. There are different Kalpams are there. So why I am telling all these things is, maybe you may feel that why I am telling all these things when we talk about the climate change and all this. The interest is, people have defined a period and they are able to predict what could be the consequence, environmental consequence, because these are not just the numbers are getting some value, and it become a information, and it's getting communicated. So they have certain rituals to adopt to maintain the information to pass over the generation. So that's what I'm interested here to letting you know that people have known about the periods. So now, Perumbolu, Sirumbolu, they used to call like that. So if you think about the seasons, most of the people may not be knowing what are the seasons we have. So generally, locally we call it as Ilaveni, Muduveni, Kar, Kulim, Munpani, Pinpani. This is how we define. Ilaveni means it is called as light warm, Muduveni means harsh warm, and Kar means dark clouds, and Kulim means chill and cool, Munpani means yearly dews, and Pinpani means late dews. This is how they define the seasons locally. So now, what is the interest of defining all these things? I just come to the point. So the particular land, especially the South India is considered. There are, I'm very clearly agreeing on point. I'm talking only about the South India, but I'm not knowing about North Indian traditional values. So don't consider that this is something different on local South India. I'm just representing the South India so that you get to know what all the knowledge treasures available here. That's the thing. Tali Sammani, Aruvi Aru, Ilivan Saran, Puvil Vandinam, Pudunaravu, Arundu Opuravam, Vavi, Nil, Kayil Varambu, Mugakana Arudam, Nivi, Tilam, Parathiya, Unaku, Ur, Naidal. This is the post, this is the going from a postcard to the Quran. This is a quoting from Tiruthala Purana. So what it says is how the land is divided into different regions. They call it as Kurunji, Mulle, Maruda, Naidal, Pale. So the entire landscape was divided into 5. So according to the landscape, how the period is allotted for that. So according to the landscape, according to the geography, people have defined their lifestyle. So that is how they have defined the land, and you will be surprised what all the flowers are adjacent to these places. That is also being documented. And here, this particular course, which may be considered as a spiritual course, but I don't consider that as a spiritual regime. I just take it as a regime from the academic view. So here, Saral means Malapagudi, Naru means Tain, Puro means Kadu, Vavi means Kulam, Nithila means Muttu, Parathiya means Neenava Madali, Unakudal, Ulakkal means this all talks about the lifestyle being adopted by these particular lands. So now we have seen space, and here we have seen time. So time and space being coordinated by the traditional people. So now what next? So here the lifestyle, the moment we say lifestyle, then it talks about the food. So how we are going to have a food. So based upon the season, they try to have a different types of rice varieties. There are several varieties, but I am just talking about some of the known varieties which are being cultivated in the corresponding months. If you are able to see, I believe. So Sonavari, Yearly Samba, Late Samba, Kar, Samba, Nagare, Kuruvai, already. So these are the known rice varieties. I'm not sure about there are several rice varieties being available traditionally, but I'm just giving you something which is available very readily. And thinking about the wind flow, there are different names we get. One is Pade, means if it comes from Nam, we call it as Pade, because in Tamil, Nam means Padak. So it is called as Pade. If the wind comes from the south, we call it as Tendral, that is called Terku. The south is called as Terku, so we call it as Tendral. If the air comes from the east side, then it is called Kondal. And if the air comes from the Merku, it is called Kacha. So this is how they have defined the different wind directions. They define wind through the directions. So why I am telling all this thing is when you give a read of Tamil literature, you may be able to find out how they have defined the meteorological scenarios. So one more thing I just want to cite over here. So there's a day called Karkota Nivarti. It usually happens on the half moon. It starts from the Margari and it ends with the January. That is time. So this between these 2 months, these people have they have a very good understanding how the cropping pattern has to be decided. Like based upon the rainfall, based upon the precipitation occurs on these days from the December end and January 1st. So within this period, within the period of 15 days or within the closed region, if the clouds started giving the rain, then the cloud may not be able to gather more and it will not give you a rain on the consecutive years. So what they say is, if the Karkota day is mentioned, within the day, if the rainfall is occurring, then the consequent year may have very dry season. That's what they are understanding. Based upon the dry season, they adopt different types of paddy field or paddy variety so that it don't require the sufficient experiments of water is not required. So based upon the environmental situation, they adopted the lifestyle, they adopted the occupation. This is what the take-home message here. So they have the very clear understanding of time, they have very clear understanding of the space, they have very clear understanding on the occupations and the lifestyle also. And here there are a few points which I wish to share so that you can understand that the people have predicted environmental episodes. So here, this 18/3/2010, they have mentioned that there will be a rain. So I have mentioned all the dates. You can go and check with the meteorological department. These days, probably you may have rainfall occurring. So I checked with this data previously. So you can also check similar kind of things. You may be surprised. They have predicted very normally. And some predictions are wrong, but if you take the average, most of the predictions are really amazing. So if you want to gather more information, see this presentation, I'm not giving any technical knowledge, so I thought I can collect information from social media. So if you want to get more information regarding the traditional knowledge on meteorology, you can go to this particular site called Varahamitra Science Forum. In this one scientist called, is a meteorologist, Dr. K.B. Balasubramanian, he has given a lecture on how Sangam literature has cited the meteorological parameter. So the time is not sufficient to explain all things, but this will be there with you. So you can go through that particular YouTube video so that you will be getting to know how traditionally we have knowledge on the meteorological episodes.
Speaker like it, sir. Speaker must be there.
Right off here.
Hello. Can somebody tell me whether there is any echoing or is the audio very clear? Hello.
Chat problem, please. Chat.
Just a minute. Kindly bear with us for a minute. We'll just get it corrected.
What is it?
இதுல பேசுறது வந்து இந்த ஸ்பீக்கர்ல கேட்கறது அதுல கேட்கறது ஸ்பீக்கர் இந்த மைக்லிங்
ரெகுலரா அப்படிதான் ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம். ஸ்பீக்கர் ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம், மைக் ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம். உங்களுக்கு எதாவது கேட்டுருந்துச்சு அதெல்லாம். ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம்.
இது ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு சாரோட லேப்டாப்பே மைக் எடுக்கணும் சார்.
மைக் ஒர்க் பண்ணிருக்கோம்.
இது ஸ்பீக்கர் மியூட்ல இருக்கணும். பிரசன்டேஷன் இருக்கு சார், மியூட்.
ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ
Now very clear. Sir, now voice is clear, sir.
ಓಕೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು
Hello.
ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಗೋ ಹೆಡ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು பிபிடி கனெக்ட் பண்ணிக்கலாம் பிபிடி சார் ஓகே ஓகே
Is it audible right now? It's a small technical difficulty. But most of the time we depend on the technology, but we don't know when our how to come out of that. We couldn't identify where is the problem. So in a very similar fashion, Earth is having a lot of technological advancements. The technological advancements are really required, and there is no doubt that it is not to be adopted or something. The problem is if it fails due to any kind of reasons, how we are going to adapt for that? That is the problem we are facing, and now we are experiencing that. So in these cases, we have to go into the traditional. How we survive without all this technology, and how we are going to make use of our traditional knowledge for regarding our environment. That's what the entire essence of the presentation. So we were talking about some of the ideas, traditional knowledge on how the time and space will coordinate, how the food cultivation was there, and following that we'll be discussing on. One second. Yeah, following that we'll be studying about how the present day science world is taking care of the data. So like how many people are saying like the mean temperature of the world is getting increased. So there are several. There are several scientific predictions. Based on the scientific predictions, based upon the geological scale, geological time they have defined. The modern world science talks about the different types of geological time, starting from the Haden, Ancient, Proterozoic, Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. There are different types of definitions being given for the time. So following that, if you observe. So kindly bear for a few seconds. We are going to display the slides very shortly. Until that time, I'm just trying to fill the gap. So kindly bear for a few seconds.
I hope the screen is visible for all now. And the voice is also clear. Yes? Yes.
Yeah, I hope everything is set right. Can anyone give the feedback whether you're getting proper response? Please, anyone can give a feedback whether you're getting the audio and visuals properly. Okay, I hope everything is fine. So I'll thank you. These are the scientific predictions of the period. What we have seen is the tradition knowledge. So now this is the scientific word. But the essence of all the things, since the time is very limited, I just go with the essence of just give you very critical things. So all over the period, all of the predictions of the period, we have the one common thing that is temperatures keep increasing. So that's a trend we have to understand. So here, in all the periods, 20,000 years before and right now we are here. So the temperature will keep on. It starts from -5 and keep increasing. The temperatures keep on increasing. And Holocene, the very initial period of Holocene, we started around 0 degrees centigrade, and it's keep on moving. And now we can sense the trend of 20th century, 21st century. So it's keep rising. So that's what the alarm. If you check the past and the future, as we see the mother excavation, all these things keep saying that the environment is getting disturbed. That's what I just want to communicate here. So here also there are several predictions we have, and based on the predictions. So the average temperature is also increasing. I'm not going to detail about all the things, but IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, has given all kinds of scenarios. If the world is full of good people, the world is full of the people who don't respond, all kinds of scenarios, they have predicted the temperature and the global warming impacts. So with those predictions, we are able to see the data. Here you can see if the worst situation comes, how the temperature rise, and central estimates and the low, if people are adopting to climate mitigations and how it responds, all the predictions are here. So these slides, all the slides, since the time is very limited, I just go with the fast pace. So all the scenarios here monthly average. So the present year we have increasing trends. So the 100 years before and now. We are experiencing the increase in temperature for a given years. So all this are very clearly saying that temperature is increasing. As I said earlier, for different scenarios, this is the average value, and this is how the temperatures keep on increasing. And whatever the possibilities, it is going to increase. These are the different potential existence. So for all these predictions, the temperatures keep increasing. So I don't want to explain further data. I just skip it out because we have to cover a few more important things. The take-home message is whatever the prediction, whatever the institutions may be, the idea is we are getting alarmed from all the predictions. So here there are different approaches. If everything is safe, then we are in this position. If the situation suddenly changes, we are in this situation, and sometimes it's a periodical safety. So sometimes we become very aware, like the last year we are aware of corona, everyone is wearing mask and we keep inside, but now we are not bothered. So it's a cycle. Earlier we were concerned and now we are not concerned, so we are in this position. So it's kind of, it's a periodic kind of thing. And this is very dangerous. So because this is known that they are going to be affected, but this situation is not clear whether we are getting affected or not. So this is very capricious situation. So every nation's policy, every government policy, all these things makes a difference. So with all the considerations, people have defined what could be the impacts, and these are all the results of those impacts. So for time being, I'm not discussing all the things, but these are existing. If you take the look on IPCC manuals, you may be able to find all those parameters. So here, what we are saying is, if as a normal citizen should we know about our meteorological status, yes, you have several documents to look around. So here, this is the risk map for the climate disaster, and this is a wind zone maps, and here it is average temperature map, and this is the precipitation map as well. So here, several such information are here. Addition to that, there are several institutions giving a lab call. One such institution is CAC, Center for Science and Environment. There is a magazine called Down to Earth. They have given the information what could be the climate change impacts on the Himalayan region. So they have very clearly delineated what could be the impacts. So on the coastal islands, what are the impacts, and Indo-Gangetic Plains, what are the impacts? So all the parameters are very clear. They have explained it very nicely. Time being, I'm not explaining all these things. So if the temperature is increasing, that results in the melting of glaciers. So that will result in the increase of sea level. And two things will happen. If more water is entering into the sea, that will dilute the sea water density. So what happens? The ocean drifts. The movement of the ocean currents will get affected because of the twist of the ocean currents. The precipitation may occur on the land surface or on the water surface. That will be a disaster situation. If the precipitation occurs on the land, then it will be beneficiary. But if the precipitation occurs on the water, again it will dilute. So that will shift the precipitation pattern itself. So that's how they have explained. So acidification occurs in the similar fashion. If you have more rain, the top frontal layer will be carried away. So that also leads to barren lands. So there are several kind of indications given by different institutions. So this particular report talks about the entire Indian region, how it is going to affect by climate change. Yeah. So these are the flow charts, how the climate change is going to affect overall the stakeholders and what kind of impacts they would experience. All the things are explicit here. In simple terms, like okay. So in a simple term, what happens is like if you raise the temperature, then what happens? If you take ideal gas law, PV called NRT, when the temperature is increasing, obviously the pressure and volume will also increase. The volume is defined, it's confined. So what happens? The pressure will increase. So it's a very simple idea of the ideal gas law. Because PV equal to NRT. When there is a right hand side value is increasing, obviously there is a left hand side value will also get increased, but there is confinement. So the earth is very confined. So obviously that will enter, the water will enter more amount of land. That's what happens. So what happens? The temperature rises, the carbon dioxide. So it's a video of the entire story. I do not explain, but I'm just giving you. There are two ways. One is anthropogenic, non-anthropogenic. What ultimately creates is the greenhouse effect, and due to which we have a lot of continuing episodes. So these stories you may be hearing for a long time. My concern is what you're going to do. What are you going to do for that? That's my major concern. Say, what's the lesson learned from the past? Say, we have these are the impacts of climate change. Maybe all familiar, so I'm just taking this. We have okay, I just operate this. So we have seen huge precipitation, and see this particular picture is really bringing an insight because. So here, due to the precipitation, you can see the entire region. So this particular one particular water body is completely filled with water, and as a result of flooding, it happens. But after 1 year, you can see the place. So like we should have a provision to store the water. We have to have a space for channelizing the water. And we have to have a clear policy for utilizing the water because there are several political concerns regarding the water. So the present theme of the work is not going to explain all the things, but I'm just giving you insight on all these things. So here, the major concern is conserving the water body. That will solve almost all the problems. So here, next thing is the heat wave. You can see how things are getting measured. So there is a greater concern on heat wave. I'm thankful to climate change cell. They are taking care of heat waves research works. I'm little bit happy with the response from the government side. So here, how the community should equip themselves, because this is how we have to restore our earth. So here we have different stakeholders. One is knowledge producer, knowledge brokers, innovation brokers, knowledge translators, information intermediaries. So these are the different stakeholders. So as a government agency, they are the as academicians, people or general institutions who is dealing with the climate change. All IPCC and MOEF, all these people are knowledge producers from the scientific world. They produce the knowledge. And we need a carrier for carrying this particular knowledge, so they call it knowledge brokers. And we have innovation brokers. Like now, like a simple idea I'll tell you. Like if you have any idea of starting a business, thinking about if you think about climate change, there are several options. So you have to create innovations on this ground. So this is one main stakeholder, and the knowledge translator. So if all is going occur, the knowledge has to be shared with the people, only then you will be getting a proper market for all these things. So the intermediate transformation, then two more people are consumer of climate information and policy advocates. These are the different stakeholders, and their key functions and all things are related here. So as a essence, so the different stakeholders are required to respond from the climate change. So that is how we have to. That is how we need to respond to our Earth. So there are a few slides. The time is 5 o'clock, so I'll just skip some of the slides. Close this. I do. Also. Okay, thank you. So here, the basic ideas we have to establish, like I was talking about how to restore based upon the climate change. First thing is we have to establish the weather and health data. The health data is separate and the weather data is separate. So we have to create a relation between the weather and the health, and we have to find the evidence of the yearly effects of climate change, then scenario-based predictive models, and evaluating the adaptive options, and estimating the coincidence benefits and the cost of mitigation and adaptation. These are the 5 frameworks we have to equip ourselves so that we can fight against the climate change. There are different opinions that we need not fight against the climate change and all. So I agree with their point, but the thing is, if you don't want to fight against the climate change, you have to be ready for anything. So that's what the message for any such kind of discussions. If you go for different types of adaptive mechanisms, then also we have certain impacts that has to be studied properly. This particular slide talks about the different types of impacts on climate change, like starting constructing dam canals for avoiding the flooding, also to store the water. So if you do that, then what happens is you will be having more malarial episodes and river bandits, and so many diseases might occur. And as a result of shrinking place, we go for agricultural intensification, then urbanization, carbon crowding, then deforestation, and reforestation. There are different environmental changes we plan, and what are all the possible impacts we mentioned here. See, many common people think that what I get out of climate change impacts. The very simple thing is, if I go to tender shop like Eleni, we used to purchase the tender document, right? So in such places, people used to say the cost of the tender net and how it is. They used to link that with the climate change. Nowadays the yield is not good. You can go to oil shop, they say not the crops are not yielding oil. All these things are day-to-day example, and apart from that, if you are not able to sleep properly, that's a scale for comforters. they're not able to sleep properly due to the temperature in the home, then that is also an indication of increasing temperature. So there are many scales to measure the impacts of climate change. So regionally we have to operate all these things so that people and government and policy makers may aware of all the impacts. So with this, I'll just close the first part of the presentation. Actually, I have a few more, but time is not there for me to explain completely. So I'll just go for another part of the presentation. You go to the next video. So now we have seen the climate change and other episodes. Now what we need to do? Why should we get aware of everyone? Okay. So I'll go a little fast. The first stage of getting awareness starts from the food. So in the very primitive stage, we are not taking food of what we take right now. So here the initial finding is we need a food for hungry. So people started exploring the fire. So the combination of fire and the food, as a result, there is an entire story for how we got evolved with different inventions. So now I'll just cut short with the three discoveries. One is fire, wheat, and agriculture. These three are very important. So from the fire, we are able to cook the food, and we are able to bring the pot for storing, and we are able to transfer from one place to another place, wheel, and wherever we go, and we started preparing our own food. So these three things are very important in the scale of environmental conservation. The fire is the major concern for any living being. If you are able to control the energy, fire is a form of energy. When you are able to control, or you are able to create, or able to distribute this, then that is thereby you are able to control the entire co-living organism. So now humans started exploring different options from the controlling the animals and human being. All the things are being started. Then we started living the So here, then we started looking for agriculture, uncovering the co-living creature. So we started looking for agriculture practices. So agriculture practice is that if you have a taste, then what happens is the taste make you to prepare it again and again. So we need here, whichever available they used to eat. Now we are fond of eating one particular food. So in such cases, we are able to create it. So they had agriculture practice. They started agriculture practices. Then they started preparing some tools for agriculture. So they used iron and the stones, and they got wheels, and again the wheel for transformation, for producing, for transforming the water from one place to another place. So then after for transportation, the same the wheels they use wheel for moving the flywheels for carrying the water. So here it is aqueduct. From here the water is transformed and it is traveled over here. Then later on they use this phenomenon. When these are moving going on, we use it for moving from one place to another place. So we had the voyage. So next to that is acquiring the first we started fire, then we started wind. Now it is solar energy. Now what happened? They started having a mirror for the warfares. Also they started creating the temperature. In a simple term, they are able to control the temperature to the different degrees. They are increasing the degree of temperature intensity. So here they are able to bring 1000 degrees centigrade, more than that. So that is how we are slowly we are developing. In my scale, the presentation is going such a way. How much temperature we can handle, lower or higher. That is how we are developing. That's how I am just trying to bring the picture. So here we are able to see people are using the mirror, and through the sun solar radiation they are able to burn the ship. This is how they use the things, and later on they started developing a furnace, solar furnace, which is having 1,700 degrees centigrade. Now the scale is 1,700 degrees centigrade. So slowly it is getting under control. So now they are not happy with the existing temperature, and for every temperature heat producing process, they need other. They need a feedstock for that. In such cases, they started depending on the coal, then after diesel. This is the stage where we have industrial era. So we have seen different engines coming up for mechanizing the things. So from the manual to mechanization, we started exploring coal and diesel and petrol and all the things. So we started the consumer era. So here now we are written here. So now the advertisements are creating huge impacts on consumerism. People are they are flooding over the purchase for different commodities. Now the presentation takes the particular disaster. Like if you are able to consume something through the advertisement, the same advertisement should create the problem. I mean, that should solve the problems. That is how we have to look into the perspectives of climate change or any other environmental impacts. So, next slide. So this is the important part of my presentation. So I'll bring it very short for this. See, most of the time when we talk about environment, we need to think about very worse situations or negative communications. Most of my students say that I'm not able to communicate positive information on the environment. So I decided to share some of the positive information regarding the environmental conservation. So here you are seeing some of the pictures. So these are the ambassadors for environmental conservation. So hope you may be knowing about Anil Gupta. This is a written process of IIM Ahmedabad. So this particular word is a very important phrase, that is mines on the margins are not marginal mines. So this particular phrase gives you all the things, like when we go for discoveries or something, we value only the intuition-based inventions, but we are not giving more respects to the intuition-based things or experience-based things. So he started giving importance for marginal people, and he patented several inventions from the localites. So he is the first person, to my knowledge, in this contemporary who concerned about the traditional knowledge, and he has worked enough for bringing the traditional knowledge into the reality. So this is one thing which I wish to stress upon. There is a theory called social contagious theory. This person is called Nicholas Kuczynski. So he has done a interesting research. If everything we do or say tends to ripple through our network, having an impact on our friends and friends and even our friends' friends, what it means? Like now we are totally closed into your social media. So I believe that most of the changes, if you want to start, then that it starts from the social media. So he is one such person who studied how the behavior of people changes with respect to social media, and he gave an example that if a person is obese, then his friend has impact. So he may also get obese. There are chances of getting obese, and the friend is also getting chances of getting obese, and friends is also getting chances of obesity. So this is how the entire cycle is connected, and he has given the degree of possibilities of activation through these three parameters. So if you are interested to know about social contagious theory, please kindly go through this particular video in that talk that will give you a nice idea of how these are influenced. Then the other thing is it's it's kind of a social experiment. There's a person called Joshua Bell. It's a real story of violinist Joshua Bell. So he's a known violinist. For his piece of music, people used to, it's a worth of $3.5 million. But you know what happens? This person is standing in a railway station, a metro station in Washington, and during this experiment, only 45 minutes, he played the music for 45 minutes, 1,100 people went through the venue, and in the 45 minutes, only 6 people stopped and stayed for a while, and about 20 gave him money, but continued to walk their normal pace. He collected only $32. Actually, his piece of music is worth of $3.5 million. But the same person at a different place playing the same piece of music, but is able to manage only $32. And climate change talks or environmental conservation talks are in the same scenarios. Though it is very important, though it is very precious, but people are not able to listen to that because we need to have a proper platform and we need to reach a situation so that people will get aware. So I believe that the social media can play a major role for transforming the information, or it is a vital at this present scenarios. Keeping us bored at saying that save water is not going to help us. Or nowadays people are interested in knowing the reality, so try to bring a model that will help us to realize the things. As I agreed earlier, I wish to share some of the traditional information. So there are methods like Kudi Maramathu, probably Tamil Nadu government is familiar about it, involving the people, for environmental conservation. The particular pictures talks about the a lot from Hindu religions, that's Saigon. So here, this is a large Shiva. Everyone knows about the Vaigai river scenarios. So here, there is the river got flooded, and the king ordered every citizen of the place should come and take care of the flooding region. So, as a god, he came forward to take a soil and to create a bun. So this will create clear information. Even the most innovated god was taking part of the conservation of environment. This is one such story. I'm not going to elaborate it. Second thing is most of the icons in the religious ground, those are Sringan Samanta Swamigal or Sinavakar Swamigal or Sundara Swamigal or Manikava Swamigal. These are the ethic personality of the religious, considering this icon. So these people, if you see this particular tool, this tool is for for creating the ponds. This is for creating the ponds in the garden. So most of the religious icons are idealized with the conservation of environment, and this particular image talks about the creation of pond, and this particular post talks about the how much important is to create the pond and the garden in the temple or any other places. So it is we are known that they are the people who kept as a hero in the temple, but in reality they are the people who work for water conservation, who work for the natural conservations. And if you think of the temple ponds, they gave more importance for the temple ponds. This particular image is carrying Sundara Swamigal. So he dropped coins, gold coins in Rudrachalam, and he collected it with the Tiruvarur. So it shows don't derive it from the logic, but derive from the thoughts. So he dropped the coin in the river, and he believed that it was safe, and he collected it from a pond. So river and pond is connected, and also the river is considered to be a more promising source. And this person is he properly reclaimed the pond. And many people were not happy with the reclamation process. Then he worshiped the god, and he got the people who commented on him got a problem. And later on, the king came to know, and he created the entire pond. This is nothing but a Tiruvarur pond. So there is another story, Thirunila who promised with the presence of pond to consider this pond as a very important promising source. So with the presence of pond, yes, given the promises. So what all this says that water resources or natural resources are given more importance in the previous cultures. So there are several such examples. You can see here, Emperor Ashoka has planted so many trees. And I just want to tell one more important thing here. we all know about Vallal, Kadai and Vallal in the South Indian region. So Kadai and Vallal means, the Vallal means those who give all theirs. So we have one person called Pari who gave his own chariot to that creeper. So it sounds like a different personality, like why should he give the entire chariot to a tree or a creeper? But the essence of the message is, to that much extent he loved, he gave importance to the co-living creatures. And maybe how many of you are aware of all these things, I'm not sure, but one thing I just want to cite, Pal is the first person who, to my knowledge, maybe limited, so he's the first person who fight against the commercializing the natural resources. Actually, there's a bird called Devavak bird. The bird called as Devavak that used to give good words to the people. So, and one important thing is, it will always stand on the one direction. So people use it for voyage. So the first entity which is taken natural resources, which is taken for trade, is that one, and he opposed it. And due to that, there are several warfare happens. Everyone knows about Angavai and Sangavai. These are the epic of how traditionally people have safeguarded the natural resources. And if you happen to know about all these things, kindly go through the Pari's history. And this on a contemporary, there's a person called Dasrat Singh Manzi. So he completely created a new way so that he can reduce the entire traveling time and this distance. So his wife died, and because of the traveling time to reach the hospital, so he devised idea to chisel down the entire mountain, and he achieved it after 21 years. Think about the resilience, how much he had, and every single day he chiseled it, and after 21 years he got away, and that is reducing a huge distance. You can able to see that. Then the other person is called as father of ecofeminism. His name is Shyam Sundar Paliwal. His own the laws is common for everyone. How we come out of the laws is really interesting. This person lost his child, so he considered all his fellow beings, all his fellow family members as his own daughter. So he created a plan. So when the child, girl child got birth, so what he do is like he gives some amount of money, and these girls are beneficiary. So they used to nurture plants. After 11 years, they have to every year they have to give a Rakhi for this, because they consider tree as their brother, and after certain age, he will be giving the money back to them. So that is how we created us. You are seeing all these pictures. For the time being, I'm not able to explain all the things. Kindly go through this particular person's history. You will be able to get a lot of information about it. So these are the people who made this person like this. And now he's running a corporate also. This place is called People and Tree. Kindly go through this. You will be able to understand how he is raised. So other than the Chipko movement, the local people has really had a concern on the forest, and they have achieved also, and going a bit faster. Other thing is coconut war. The local people are safeguarding their natural resources. So this lady, Timaka, she planted several thousands of plants, and she awarded with more prestigious awards. And this person from Kerala is Abdul Karim. He lived inside a 32-acre forest. 1977, he brought a land for 5 acres for 3,750. Most of the people, because he knew why he is purchasing that. Continuous endeavors made him to bring a big forest, and now his name is included in the textbooks. So that's an achievement that he has done. But the thing is, the resilience. Most of the people used to think about or talk about environment. But what happened afterward was like we are not able to pursue this. But when these people are pursuing, this will give you a motivation for anyone to talk about the environmental conservation. The other person is beyond the Forestmen of India. These people are not looking for any awards or any kind of campaign. It's their work. They loved it and they have done that. Jadhav Beyal has created 1,360 acres of dense forest, and it is known as forest man. Please go through all these people's and those who are teaching. Please talk about all these people when you are discussing the class. That is most essential right now. This person is Waterman of India. There are many interesting stories about him. He created a desert in a fertile land, and the time is not sufficient for me to explain about all of it. Like you can find all his history in websites. Please go through that. The interesting part is he revived a cultural festival, thereby he bring the fertility to the land. So this is one IT professor who upgraded the job, and he started working for the tribal people. So this is one person called. So this person collects the tablet for the needy people. Actually, he needed tablets for some times. He couldn't get it, so he started serving the people. So another person is this person is called as Odisha Balu. He gathered traditional knowledge, especially in South India. So he created a WhatsApp group. I was wondering how a personality connect the people through social media and able to create a lot of information portals. So here he constituted different groups, and through this group, many people are connected, and many information is being shared, the meteorological data, and even he started teaching the people about the traditional knowledge. And there are different the different part of the world people are connected to this group, and all are sharing about their traditional knowledge on any particular concerns. So the voyage, especially voyage, and all such traditional knowledge has been taken for study, for analysis. So this is one important I just want to share for his credit. So in those days, the ship voyage is very known. The ship voyage needed cloth for supporting the moon. Where they have owned those cloth, he exploded and he found people. So these are the things which we require right now. How they made it and how the mass is strong enough, which is tolerating the lightning and several consequences being taking place in the sea voyage. So all these things are very interesting. Then there's a place called Sindhurai, which I recently visited. They contribute different groups, and these people of their own, they have created awareness among the people, and they started constructing the check dam. And even the government was good enough to recognize them, and they funded also. So now they are blooming. This particular place is full of people who have their lifestyle or livelihood based upon the wood cutting. So after sometimes their livelihood is getting affected because there is a lack of tree. So these people have constructed check dams to increase the water level, and thereby they are able to restore their lands. And there are places. There is a place near Trichy called Mahidampadi. There's interesting information about them. Mahidampadi, there's a place near Trichy, and what they have done is they planted Mahidamaram. This is the indication of micro environment. So when you talk about the micro environment, the primitive people, the traditional people felt that certain species are very essential for safeguarding the micro environment. So they named those places in that way. Even my own native place is called Naval Kadu. So Naval Kadu means the place where they have more naval trees, down trees, so they call it as Naval Kadu. So here it is Mahidampadi, so they have planted Mahidamaram to restore the microclimate over there. So these people are Jagan, who's taking care of, who's sharing the knowledge about the traditional rice varieties. There are many such people. This one particular personality from Pondicherry Engineering College, who really helped many living creatures in the campus. He also valued the people, and he planted more than hundreds of trees within the campus. Also outside the campus, more than 1,000 trees he planted in the campus. Also, who helped for the dogs and other things. This one interesting personality in Pondicherry called Aranya Saravanan. This particular person is interesting personality in this category. He brought a barren land, and we created a big forest over there. Please kindly visit Aranya Forest. You will be surprised to know how a single person can manage to create a big forest. And these are the people who become ambassadors for us to conserve the environment. This is one of our product, or one of our student called Ganesh, Dr. Ganesh, who is working in St. Joseph College. So he did work on vermicomposting. As a result, he started working on the particular aspects. he helped he started a composting plant within his campus. He had two plants, one is 2000 capacity, 10,000 kg capacity. So he started involving the students and motivating them to create a composting, and that those composts were given for the low cost for the farmers and the staffs and students, so that they can go for vegetation in their houses. So these are the different people which I come across in social media. So even in Pondicherry, many people are doing. Many people are seriously working on conservation of ponds. I'm not able to bring all the things. Maybe a separate session we have for people who works on the conservation of water body. Yeah, this is one institution called Voice for Voiceless. So these institutions taking care of the dogs and other animals. So any voiceless animals, they used to take care and they adopt them, and they are doing a very good work. And there are people saying the one interesting factor, like here, this is a marriage function. In the marriage function, they got a different innovators. All the innovators are brought in one single place, and they are able to display their products. So all traditional products are being displayed on marriage function. So people who do marriage can do this kind of activity, so that people get to know, and this become a motivation for the people who go for traditional business. And there are people who go for natural conservative forest. So this place has been restored, and they want to have a marriage over here. So this is a lifetime memory that they had on places where they got restored. And there are products. There are several such products. You have to identify all those products. And there is a place called Sithilingi, and they are also doing a lot of business on the traditional values. And please kindly go through those sites. You'll be able to understand the importance of doing business with traditional values. So here, one important thing is, I just want to mention this particular scenario. This you can find in Balamore Road, connecting Tamil Nadu, Kanyakumari and Kerala. This place is called Balamore Road. You have a single person, one person working in a forest. I'm not sure about where he's working. He felt this tree is is existing for a very long time, and people are not giving more importance. And he on his retirement day, he kept this board stating that how much year this is old, and he has given the spiritual value for that. And interestingly, he brought all the people, and he gave food for all the people. He almost created a celebration to safeguard this plant. And now this board is there on the place where people were thinking that they are in a very historical values. You can see what is written in that. So he is connecting this particular plant with the history. That is very essential. Most of the tourism people, they used to connect. They have to identify how the places are connected traditionally. That way we can safeguard some of the things. So one more thing which I want to share right now is many of the people who go for forest outings and all, they used to take liquors and just throw the bottles wherever they like. And you know what happens to that? These things are happening. And the elephants, they travel around 50 kilometers average. So now what happens when they travel for the food and or water, they get infected because of the bottles. And if they are not able to walk, they won't survive. So please, when you go outing in a forest, please think of dropping the bottles. And plastics. Within the forest region, don't throw plastics. These animals are dying. And you know how much stress it is creating. See, a person is sleeping on the food. So this much they are friendly to us, and how we are back to them. So these are the things, just by sharing the information, you are doing some information, you are doing some credits to the conservation of environment. So we had small social experiments. So we want to clean our own institution. So we made a Photoshop kind of things. So it is working well. So here we want to have a tree. So we modeled it and circulated among the people. So it also worked. Now this place is slushy green, and this place is this one place near our Pondicherry highway. So this place was so dirty like this. So we want to change, but we couldn't do that. So we modeled it using Photoshop, so then people really adapted it. Now the place is very clean like this. And restoring the ponds from the local public is very important. Every temple have their own pond, and locals should give importance to the pond. That way they can give importance to the temple. But nowadays people are very fond of going temple for every occasions, but they are not taking care of the natural resources related to the temple. So this is teaching is different and doing things are different. So there is a challenge. In our own native place called Navankadu, there is a small pond, and in the pond there is a huge algae cover. So when I was talking, people asked me to join them. So I tried it. So the experience was really good. After teaching several years, really getting into the field is giving a lot of motivation. So we cleaned it. Actually, this was the initial state, and this is the final state, and we all cleaned it. So this is my part into that, and entire village people, the small people, this is how initially it was, and we cleaned it like this completely. So like you have to motivate people, and that is how you have to move the situation. And I heard that some places in Kerala they are able to control to this extent. If the marriage happens, if the plastic is used, and they are not able to issue the marriage certificate, it is a really interesting, and I have to appreciate those people. And there is one case study. If possible, if time permits, I will just show that. So here, most of the time we use plastic bags, plastic wrappers. Instead of plastic wrappers, this is the Terminalis catappa tree that we call as Badala Maram or Badala Maram. The leaf is sufficient to cover 2 A4 size paper. So if you are roadside shops, don't worry about the plastic papers or multi-packet covers. So this is sufficient to provide a food, and added advantages. This leaf is having a lot of medicinal values. It controls BP, sugar. Don't think me that I'm telling something. Go to the scientific articles, you will be able to find this leaf is having a lot of medicinal values, and it is also antimicrobial property. So this is the plant. So this plant, additional advantages, it's called as umbrella plant generally. So this umbrella plant will grow very faster, and it also create a shadow on those places, and that will be make you comfortable sit around. So this is one situation where if any meeting happens, people used to take and throw away. So either the government and the people should know what is the solid waste management rule says, and they have to be react accordingly. So these are the sustainable organizations people do for their festivals. So you please kindly encourage this and give validation for this kind of things. And this is one person called Rajamanikam who worked on the plastic eradication of plastic bags. So this is a course from Thruvasak, Andai Pavadi, Undai Parakam, Adaparam Tanmai, Vadaparam Kachi, Undin Kuantu, Indu Yiri Pavadi, Nundur Kodi, Vepada Virinara, Il Nurai Kadirin, Anu Prayer, Syria Period, Varian Tavayodu, Mal I am Viduri, Totram Cherapu, Nindo Punari, Maper Uri, Nikam Lane, Sukamodu Tola, Sure Malu. So what it means is they talk about the entire process of evaluation. So the time is not there, so I'm not able to explain this. I just skip this. Findings and solutions. Within 5 minutes. So the last one, with this I will close the session. So its own case study. Most of the time we visit temple. So here one such experience happens to me. This temple called Alagar Temple, located in Tennapakam near the origin of Kannur and Pondicherry. So what happened here is it's a festival in Chitrai month. Right now it is happening. So every Monday of the Chitrai month they have a big gathering. More than 4 lakh people joined over there, and we happened to visit the place, and we were very shocking how much plastic is being generated over there. So these are the scenarios. This is a nearby pond, and all the plastic is being loaded over there, and they burn it because they don't have any other possibilities. This shows how much amount of mob is being roaming around there. So you can understand how much people are moving around. So these are the plastic waste generated over there. So this is how they managed it. So what happened was we started getting some ideas. So we started surveying it. So we conduct a survey on one 3 meter square area. So how much material is being collected? We got a survey, and we communicated to the some of the friends. And he is the temple the time. So we communicated to him, and he also cooperated with us. So on the coming day, the next festival, so we completely replaced the multi-packing covers to the banana leaf, plantain leaf. So people are also happy. And here the shops, more than 100 shops were there. So we gave them paper bags. So he accompanied a lot, and through him we are able to provide the services. And what happened was, interestingly, the flower waste also being taken, and in other similar festivals we gave free samplings. So I just share one important information. With this, I'll close this. So here, the waste of plastics we collected from the temple premises, we thought we have to sell it. After finding a better option, we thought like we have to use it for any other purpose. Then we identified a person called Arganandan. So what he's doing is like he had a laboratory research on how to make use of the recycled plastics. So he made a paper blocks, and he also now Pondicherry, which is also good enough to give a fund for him to create this chair, and also government of Pondicherry in the slab meeting they have given approval for bringing such kind of products. So now we are able to bring the paper blocks out of the waste plastic we collected from the place. So with this information, there are many scopes to do. So this is my humble conclusion. So don't point someone to do the changes, be the change, and that will give you all sorts of pleasures. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this interesting presentation. On this day of the Earth Day, UNEP has given the theme as Restore Our Earth. As I said in the beginning, it's not about large-scale adaptation or mitigation activities, but the theme is about how individuals can contribute for conservation of our planet Earth. In his lecture, Professor Soble has introduced us to most of the unsung warriors who had contributed selflessly for conservation of Earth by their activities. So, such individual activities, though on a small scale, will definitely help in bringing a real change in the society. Like the saying goes, small drops underneath mighty ocean. In this presentation, he has introduced us to a lot of individuals in our society, in our own Indian territory, and in other parts of the country, who have given excellent contributions for protection and conservation of the environment in their own way. And also he has explained about the value of traditional knowledge and how it can be applied in protection and conservation of the environment. By citing examples from our own Dravidic culture and Sangan literature. It was a wonderful presentation, sir. And also he has touched upon the science of climate change also, and how to apply this additional knowledge in fighting and combating the climate change issues that we are facing today. Thank you so much, sir, for the excellent presentation. I would request the participants to give their views, and if there are any queries, they may ask now. In case there is no question, I think we can wind up the session for today. Thank you all. You are all a wonderful audience. Can see around 63 people still here till the end of the session. We had around 100 participants today in this meeting, and it was very interesting to have you all here. I would like to thank the officials from various departments of Government of Puducherry and officials from other part of the states, of the country, from various states who are present here today. The faculties of various education institutions and the students from various colleges and universities who are here today, and all others who have participated in this webinar and made it a great success. Thank you all.